Hi, welcome to my channel, Gigi's Altered Objects. Today we're going to work on part 5 of our interactive mini album using the Kaleidoscope collection from Graphic 45. We're going to do the front page in this episode, and the front page is going to open down this time. So we're going to put a special button closure on it, but let's get started with the actual decorative part first. This is one of my signature pages. It's a lot of fun to do and has a real unique look. So we're going to use a zipper in this. So we're going to begin by, and you can use any old zipper. These happen to be some that I got at Wish, and there were probably a dozen of them for $1. Sorry about my pup. I don't know what she sees out the door, but she's very excited. All right, so I'm just going to snip this bottom part off right here. And measure again, yeah. Okay, so we're going to create kind of a pocket on this front page. We're going to tear this part out. This is a 6x6 piece of paper. Looks like this on the other side, the reverse side. So this is going to be the bottom of the pocket. So that is 6x6 out of the 12x12. Then I cut this one. The back side looks like this. And the reason I did this on purpose, so whichever one you choose to use, the back shouldn't be too awfully busy. Because it's gonna make it, it's gonna show. We're gonna kind of fold it over. All the pieces that I've used, I have already put some of the Distress ink. This time I'm using the Seedless Preserve. So that's another one of the minis in the collection. All right, so we're going to begin by tearing. So I'm gonna put, excuse me, let's see, here and here. I want the look of the tear, and so to get it the way I want it, I'm actually going to have to tear from this side. Is that right? No, it's not working. All right, well, let's see, up, okay, because that is the look that I want. We're going to just go in a V shape down to the bottom, and then do the other side. And as I said, this is very forgiving. It does not have to be exact. It has another step to it that will, well, you'll see. All right, and I want more paper showing here. So I'll do that. Okay, on this part you can spray with water. I like to use rubbing alcohol in my little mister because I've learned that it dries quicker, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I want to get this, actually, you know what? Let's wait. I think we better do some inking first, and that won't matter. That'll just make that look cool. And just in case, we'll look at the other side and do a little inking too on that side. All right. And you can always re-ink, that's fine. All right, so now we're going to spray it with our rubbing alcohol. And we want to curl this up. You can use a pencil, you can use a pen. I am using a crochet needle. The little tools you use to make your flowers, those are also a good shape. You just want to kind of curl it up. It's going to end up kind of going over the zipper. I'll show you. Okay. And then the other side. I love using textures, three-dimensional items, anything that adds different types of texture and look to the paper, I really do enjoy. Okay, and I think I'll do a little more at the bottom. And my paper is already beginning to dry. And that is perfect. That's just exactly what we wanted. Okay. Now, we're going to adhere the zipper like this. And the paper is going to kind of fold over the top. And of course we'll be using E6000. I think I'm going to have to unzip it a little more so I can get the curl down here. Alrighty, so we will just flip the zipper over and give it a little E6000. Again, I'm not squeezing it, just kind of dabbing it. You know, a little goes a long way. And then we're going to attach it under the folds. I always have some clips handy to hold it in place. I really don't want to squish the fold too much though, so I am going to be wary of that. Pull the zipper back up a little. There we go. Great. That is the look we're going for. I forgot to tell you, this paper was 5.5 by 6 because I wanted some of the purple to show through on the sides. Okay, and I'm just going to use tacky glue on this so that I can reposition it if I need. Remember, go light so that your paper doesn't look warped. It's going to have a lot of embellishments on it, so it really won't have an opportunity to look too warped for you. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of brandish with my fingers to make sure that it's smooth. Great. Okay, so now I'm going to set this, no, we're not. This is going to have a closure that's kind of like a policy envelope. I was letting my parrot, he needed something to do, so I let him get into one of my jars of buttons and just play for a while this morning. And while I was in there, I thought, okay, let's use some everyday household embellishments on this project. So I clipped the end off of that button, if you can see where you would thread it, and I'm going to put a dab, and we don't want the whole button to be covered with glue because just like the elephant one we did, we're going to need a thread to be able to wrap around it. So we're going to put it right there in the middle. And of course, I like to do items in odd numbers, 1s or 3s. I already glued these down. That one got a little kitty wampus. Well, we will redo that. I probably moved it too soon. So these are just some more buttons that I found. And then in my stash, I had the little metal flowers, and they're more antiqued, and then the little gold ones. So again, with texture, I just decided to layer those. But there was a rhyme to my reason. I wanted to include both this, my friends save old pieces of jewelry for me. And of course, I pick up things whenever I see them at estate sales. This was part of a bookmark, and it had 3 different animals on it. And something happened in the classroom, and it broke. So I brought it home and So I like the two different colors of metal in this, and then the little elephant is more gold. So I thought by putting together the button with the more antiqued style, all this wonderful texture and colors, would bring it all together, and then put the little gold rose on top. I about stuck that right in my glue. Okay. So of course, like gardening, when we're crafting, odd numbers appeal best to the eye. So I always think 1s, 3s, and 5s. I want those petals to be kind of in between each other. There we go. All right, so let's do a little arranging first. I think I'm gonna want this, let's see, it's going to open down. It's gonna have an attachment here. I'm just trying to think of where the weight wants to go. I think I also like this little butterfly. And there's this great leaf that I have, and 3 teeny tiny flowers. I think I'll put those here. And then those 3 buttons I think I'll put here. And to make this have 3, I'll put the little elephant here. All right, so we're gonna glue these down, and then I'm gonna show you how to make some of the things we're going to tuck inside the pocket. I hope I didn't glue the pocket down too much. I do that sometimes. You really just wanted the glue around the outside. So let me loosen that up, because you want to be able to tuck all your goodies in there. And if you ever make that mistake, I do find that we have a visitor. Here comes my bird. If I just take a ruler and rub it around the inside, I can usually get that to lift right up. All right, let's see how much we can get done here before I have to put the camera off and pick up the bird. I let him play outside today. He's been such a good bird, and I put his buttons in the kitchen, and he's just thrown, it's a mason jar of buttons, and Theodore has just thrown those buttons all over the kitchen. He's having so much fun. I have quite a mess to clean up, but he enjoyed it. Let's see, I put a little dab of E6000 right there. Put the elephant on it. Okay, and then we're gonna do the leaf. Oops, those strings, just like hot glue gun. Keep your baby wipe handy. Okay. Theodore, you came up here very quietly with those big wings today. You're really beginning to be a pro. He's a African gray. You may have seen him on other videos. I introduced him sometime back in September when he first came to us as a 12-week-old baby. He's about 6 or 7 months old now, and he's already imitating us. And he wasn't supposed to do that until he was a year old. So we think that he's extremely bright, of course. All right. I'm always keeping my eye out for everyday objects and seeing it. Even my husband does it now and again. He'll find a piece of packaging and say, oh, I bet you could use this as da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, well, that's just ingenious, thank you. And then, of course, sometimes he's like, you save everything. I have a funny shirt that says it's not hoarding if your stuff is cool. This one wasn't quite dry, so I'm gonna have to put it back together a bit here. There we go. And a little rose is hiding under here. It may need a bit more glue. All right, as long as Theodore doesn't come down here and try to eat our work, we will be good to go. We're going to set this aside. Oops, I didn't mean to do that, did I? Oops-a-daisy. He's also learning to say, oh, careful, careful, here. Let Mommy take that. You don't need that. Mommy's paper cutter. It's sharp. Danger. Alright, hopefully he'll let me do this next part before he decides he needs to come down here. Alright, so I'm going to show you some of the things we're going to tuck in the pocket. I'm going to do something with these feathers. I'm not sure what. I think maybe just glue a couple on the outside, but I really like those. This is out of the 12 by 12 paper. I used my little punch that I showed you to create a tag. Then I used some spellbinder punches to create this. This elephant was cut out of the 12 by 12 paper. This is some of the Tim Holtz metallic jewel, and I happen to have a feather punch that I wanted to use here as a stopper and also with a brad. This is a piece from the tags and envelopes, and I just backed it on black paper and fixed it with a brad. So let's see, and there's also this saying, and this was left off of one of the cards. It could have been the one I think with the zebra, and so the top part said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." I just affixed a tassel to it to turn it into a little bookmark, and we will put that in there. And then here's for the cool thing, and I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm creating a little book. On the binding, it's a saying by Albert Einstein. It says, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." This comes in a larger one that would be on the 12 by 12, but this is from the smaller. I needed to be tiny, so this is from the 8 by 8. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I made the book. The book was, I believe it's 10 by 3. Let me double check. Yep, 10 by 3 is the black paper, and I'll show you how I found the place to put the what looks like binding. So you can do this mathematically any way you want, but this is what I did. So the inside papers are 2.5 by 9, okay? But it's the same technique. So first I just folded it in half. I wanted to know where the halfway mark was. So you just line up your corners and fold it with your bone folder. And then I put that fold on my score pad. He's throwing things at me. All right, and on either side, so this just happens to be at the 4.5 mark. So on either side of the center line, at 1/8 of an inch, I'm going to score it on both sides of the halfway mark. And then I'm going to fold those scored marks over. And then you have the part that looks like the binding, and then this one, we can just glue it right to. Sometimes I'll use some embroidery thread or even leather thread and kind of sew it in. But for this one, we are going to glue it right in the book. There's the first piece. We'll open it up, and there we have our backing right there. I'll put a few dabs of glue. My phone's ringing. It may be my husband, but that can wait. All right, and then we're going to glue that in the center right here. Make sure it stays where we want it. If you see things coming down, our Theodore is eating seeds and dropping the leftovers on Mom. All right, let's do that one more time. So again, we're going to find the center, and then we're going to score 1/8 of an inch on either side. So again, that's at the 4.5. So we're going to go here. And here, things are blowing around. Somebody's big wings. Big, beautiful wings, Theodore. Fold it here. again. Fold it there. All right, we can put the score pad up. We have that little binding piece right there. It's just a little more fancy than just folding it in half. It gives it more of a look of a real book. And of course you can stamp. I guess we can look and see what kind of stickers. Maybe we can decorate these white pages. And so this will be good for either journaling or photographs or even fixing memorabilia. Alright, so on the front of this, this was cut from the 10 by 10. Oh, I have a bird on my head. And it says, "You are a rainbow of possibilities." So we're going to just tack that down with a little glue. Here he comes. Oh, Theodore, you're so cute. Oh, he's trying to get the glue. That's not good. Say hi, Theodore. Say hi. Yeah, you shouldn't eat the camera either. Okay, sit on Mama's lap. All right. So we'll look at the stickers and see if we can put a little decoration on the pages. Oh, there goes my phone again. I think maybe these little flowers that we were going to use earlier, we can put. Don't chew my mat, baby. And we'll do top, bottom, top, bottom. Sticking with the purple ones. Oh, Theodore. He's like a naughty child. Oh, he's got to get into everything. Yes, you have to get into everything, don't you? Yes, you do. If I have it, he needs it. Okay. So I'm trying to keep the videos shorter. So that is all we're going to do. I'll show you. Let's see. On the back of this black paper, I'm going to use some of this stretchy cord. I'm going to take a piece of the purple stretchy cord, probably about 4 inches, and I'm going to glue it on the back side. Let's see. It will be glued here before we put that down so that it can wrap around and hold that closed. But this piece has to dry first, okay? And then when it's all dry, we'll tuck all these wonderful things in the pocket. Again, we have the bookmark we made, the cute little book with the saying from Albert Einstein talking about creativity, and the tag, and then the little stuffed tag. So all those will go inside the pocket, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's dry. I'm also probably going to put a couple of those wonderful feathers in there. But I'm being loved on by my bird. Happy crafting. Well, lucky break for me. I had to leave unexpectedly, which means everything had a chance to dry. So here you see the page connected to the black paper, and it's going to open like that. Actually, it's not, yeah. So on the back, I attached with both E6000 and tape that piece of cord I showed you. And so it will just hold it closed this way, and we'll tuck all the little goodies inside of it. Here's the mini stuffed tag we made, and the other tag. Here is the bookmark, and back here the book with the Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than intelligence book. So that's what it'll look like as the first page on the front page on our next book. Happy crafting.